Part 6. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let's continue. We were on chapter 6, how to treat black magic. Chapter 6 and part 6, and this is the last part of the chapter 6. Inshallah, today we're going to finish chapter 6, how to treat black magic. Let's continue. Nahmadu wa nusalli ala rasulil kareem. Amma ba'd, fa'uz billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We are not completing the book yet. There are a few more chapters left. So we are on chapter 6 and part 6. How to treat it. A case with a genie who grabbed a woman by her leg that we have seen. Let me give a quick review for that. A woman explained how she felt so much pain in her leg. And I thought that whenever I means the author talking about it, Abdus Salam Bali, I thought that she might have been suffering from rheumatic arthritis. However, I decided to recite the ruqya over her and she had difficulty in walking. Hardly had she listened to Surah Al-Fatiha, then she became epileptic and Genie spoke through her and he informed me that he was grabbing her leg and I told him to leave for the sake of Allah's obedience. He got out and the woman was able to walk normally. A man's face was twisted to the right side by a genie. A man's face was clearly twisted to the right side. So when I recited a ruqya, a genie spoke through the man and explained that the man had harmed him and that was the reason why he had twisted his face to the right side. I convinced the genie that the man had not seen him and that what he had done in retaliation was unlawful haram, and I also invited him to follow good and avoid the evil. Amar bil maruf nahi anil munkar. The genie accepted my invitation and as soon as he got out, the man's face was restored. And so it was to a normal position. Why it happens, sometimes we are forbidden to throw anything in the hole of the, like a snake hole or something like that. Or sometimes by accidentally you do that. Sometimes you throw water and God forbid if genies, children are there or genies, and it may hurt them. So whatever we are doing, you're going to recite Bismillah. And it won't harm anyone. A case which challenged doctors. A man informed me how his daughter had experienced a shock and had been in coma for 2 months. She could hear but could not speak, eat or move any part of her body, and she was now in the hospital undergoing intensive care ICU. One doctor informed me that all the medical tests were negative, but they did not know what was wrong with her. All they did to her was the introduction of one of the tube into her throat for breathing, another one into her nose for dripping feeding, to maintain her life condition. Usually I do not go to patients to treat them, no matter how they are. Had the girl's family not come to me with a message from respectable friend Sheikh Said ibn Misfir al-Qatani, I would not have visited this patient. The girl's family brought me a statement from the hospital authorizing me to visit the patient outside the normal visiting hours to treat her. So I went to the hospital and found the patient lying on the bed in a state which only Allah knows. She was so weak and emaciated that she could not move any part of her body except her head, but only very slowly. She could hear and see. I asked her the usual question in an attempt to pinpoint the symptoms, but she replied in the negative, so I did not know what was wrong with her. I went to perform Salatul Maghrib, during which I asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to cure her. When I returned to hospital, I recited Suratul Falaq And the following supplication and girl spoke to me. Allahumma Rabbana Nasi Azhabil Basa wa Shafi Anta Shafi Inna Shifa el Shifa Uka Shifa ul Yugadirul Saqama. This is in the cure duas for the curing. There you can find it. O Allah, the Lord of the people, drive away the pain and heal me, for you are the healer. There is no cure except you cure. You cure that does not leave any illness, but that it cures it. At this moment, the girl's father and two brothers cried with joy. The father wanted to kiss my head, but I told to him, do not believe in individuals, but believe in Allah. So believe in Allah. So I told to him, do not believe in individual, but believe in Allah, who wanted your daughter to be cured at this moment. He made it possible through one of his servants. The author of the source text, the girl said, Alhamdulillah, praise is due to Allah, and added, I want to leave the hospital. A genie revealed the site where an object used for black magic was buried. A young man came to me and explained that he was ill. I recited Ruqya. Then a genie spoke through him, saying that he was entrusted with the spell done to the young man. He showed us the sorcerer that genie works with and the place where the sihr was buried. At the doorstep, I asked the genie to leave, and he did. Young man's family went to the location indicated by genie and dug by the doorstep. They found shredded pieces of paper with figures on them. They dissolved them in water, and the effects of spell were pacified. Black magic for an-nazif, bleeding from menses. How it is achieved. This type of black magic affects a woman. Only a sorcerer sends a genie to the target woman and instruct him to cause her to bleed. To do so, the genie enters the woman's body and circulates with the blood in her veins and arteries. This notion of circulation has long been warned about by Prophet ﷺ in the following tradition. Shaitan circulates in man's body like a blood. When genie reaches known vein in the woman's womb, he storms it so that a vein bleeds. This fact was pointed out by the Prophet ﷺ when Hamna Binte Jahash asked his opinion on the issue of bleeding outside the period of menses, and he said, such bleeding is but one of Shaitan's stomping. According to another tradition, the bleeding is result of Shaitan stomping on the vein rather than for a normal menses. Therefore, according to both tradition, menstruation that occurs outside its normal period is one of the Shaitan storms on one of the woman's womb's veins. Definition of black magic for an-nazif. According to scholars of fiqh, jurisprudence, an-nazif refers to al-istihaza, continuous menstruation, and according to doctors, it refers to bleeding. According to Ibn al-Athir, al-istihaza means bleeding from a normal menses. This bleeding may last for months, and the amount of blood could be little or larger. We were doing definition of black magic for a nazif, and this is part 6, chapter 6 and part 6. So we were doing how to treat black magic, and today we're going to complete this class, this chapter. We have few more chapters, we didn't complete the book yet. So today we're going to try to complete it and do a quick review, inshallah. So here, definition of black magic for an-nazif. According to scholars of fiqh, jurisprudence, an-nazif refers to al-istihaza, continuous menstruation. And according to doctor, it refers to bleeding. According to Ibn Asir, al-istihaza means bleeding from a normal menses. This bleeding may last for months, and the amount of blood could be little or larger. Treatment. The healer should recite Ruqya over some water, advise the patient to wash her body for 3 days. Then bleeding should, by Allah's permission inshallah, with the mercy of Allah, it will be cured. Example of treating black magic for An-Nazif. A patient came to me and explained how she was bleeding heavily. I recited Ruqya for her and I advised her to listen to verses of the Quran and which I gave her. A few days later, her bleeding stopped. As regard the writing of verses of Quran on piece of paper, washing them with water and drinking the water, it is lawful according to Ibn Taymiyyah. It is lawful to write some verses of the Quran or the words of the supplication in lawful ink and advise a person affected by black magic to wash and then drink from it. Imam Ahmad and other scholars held. As for praying, fasting and other acts of worship of a woman who continues to bleed outside her normal menses is the following. Black magic for impending marriage. How is it done? A person with the grudges would go to the wicked sorcerer and request that a spell be worked against a certain person's daughter to thaw her marriage. The sorcerer would request her name, her mother name, and the trace of her hair or smell on a piece of garment. Once these are provided, the sorcerer works out the appropriate black magic and instructs one genie or more to stalk the girl until the opportunity comes to enter her, which is often during one of the 4 occasions. What are they? Extreme fear, extreme anger, extreme negligence, indulgence in pleasure. And we discussed these 4 things before also, how the jinn enters: fear, anger, negligence and pleasure. Genie has 2 options. If he can enter the girl when he causes her to feel uncomfortable with any prospective husband and thus turn him down. If he cannot enter the girl, then he uses the black magic of imagination from outside. As a result, a suitor would see the girl in an ugly image under the effect of genie whispering, and so would the girl. Under the effect of this spell, a suitor would come initially to the under the effect of this spell, a suitor who would have initially agreed to the marriage would decline after a few days without any valid reason. In case of a strong spell, a suitor would, upon entering the house of his prospective wife, feel very uncomfortable, see darkness before him as if were in prison, and some would never return. During the period of the spell, the genie may cause the girl to experience occasional headaches. Symptoms: occasional headaches with persist despite medication, severe tightness in the chest, especially between Asr and midnight. The patient sees the suitor ugly, absent-mindedness, anxiety during sleep, occasional constant stomach aches, pain in the lower part of the back. So these are the symptoms. Treatment: the healer should recite Ruqya specified. We have already discussed about the Ruqya. I'm going to quick review in the end of today's class. If the patient becomes epileptic and the genie speaks through her person, follow the same treatment. If the patient does not become epileptic but feels a change in her body, advise her to do following: wear hijab, observe prayer on time, not to listen songs or music, to perform ablution before going to bed, and to read Ayatul Kursi, and to join both arms closer to face, reciting Al-Mawazzatain, spitting onto the hands and rubbing the body 3 times before going to bed. To listen once a day to the recitation of Ayatul Kursi repeatedly. Keep on repeat and do it for at least 60 minutes, like a 1 hour. To listen once a day to the recitation of Mawazzatain, all the three, 112, 13 and 14. Suratul Falaq, Suratul Nas, Suratul Ikhlas, all three of them in 60 minutes. To drink and wash every 3 days from the water on which Ruqya has been recited. To recite La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahul mulku wa lahul hamdu wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir in the Fajr and the Asr 100 times. This instruction must be followed for a whole month, after which period the symptoms might, with Allah's permission inshallah, he or she will be cured. The pain might grow and the symptoms might intensify. In this case, recite Ruqya specified. The patient will then, with Allah's permission, will be fine or become epileptic. So the treatment specified above should be followed. Example of treating black magic for impeding a marriage. A woman consents to her marriage but then declines the following morning. A young man informed me about a girl whose character was strange. If someone asked her to marry him, she would agree and would be happy to do so. But the following morning, she would change her mind and refuse to marry without giving any reason for her refusal. This state of affair, he explained, was repeated several times to the extent that people became suspicious. Recite Ruqya, and a female genie spoke through her. Who are you? I cannot remember her name. Why did you enter and possess this girl? Because I love her. But she does not like you. What do you want from her? I do not want her to marry. What do you want her? So whenever a suitor come to her and she consented to the marriage, I would threaten near during her sleep. And I would do such and such thing to her if she married. What is your religion? Muslim. This is unlawful, for Prophet ﷺ said a person should not harm his Muslim brother by removing any of its, rights. What you are doing to the girl, to her determined. The genie was convinced by what I said to her, and so she left the girl, who regained her normal consciousness. Important facts on black magic. The symptoms may be similar to those of lunacy. Constant stomachache indicate that the patient has eaten or drink the spell was prepared against him or her. Treatment with Quran is possible provided that the healer of righteous man, the patient be confident and convinced of the effectiveness of the treatment with Quran. Most types of black magic share one common symptom, a feeling of tightness in the chest, especially during the night. Disclosure of the site where the object of the spell is buried may be obtained by information given by the genie entrusted with the task of spell. However, do not believe him until you have sent someone to look for the spell at the location specified by the genie. If the spell is found, then the genie is telling the truth. Otherwise, the genie is telling lies. Observe 2 rakah at the last third part of the night by the patient or healer in the faithful, truthful, peaceful and submissive way. Tahajjud. Okay. During this salah, the patient or healer should make a supplication, make lot of dua in which he asks him to show him the place where the spell is buried. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One may have a vision during sleep. When you sleep, you have a dream. Have a feeling or be strongly convinced about the burial place of a spell. If this is achieved, one should be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and thank to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One may recite Ruqya on, say, some black seed oil. Advise the patient to rub it on any painful or affected area of the body in the morning and evening. This is valid for all types of spell. Prophet ﷺ said, Habbatul Sauda, black seed is a cure for every disease. In some countries, Al-Habbatul Sauda is known as Habbatul Baraka. So here, a girl whose sight was restored by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the place where the spell was buried. In some countries, Al-Habbatul Sauda is known as Shanuj or Shunij. According to Muslim wording, there is a cure for every disease. in Habbatul Sauda, that is black seed, except death. A girl whose sight was restored by the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a spell or buried. As soon as I recited Ruqya for her, I realized that she was affected by a strong spell. The author is saying this. She explained that she used to see phantom in dreams and reality. I advise her family to follow certain treatment and the effects of spell will, by Allah's permission, will go off. They wonder if there was any way of disclosing the place where the object of spell could be buried. I explained that the best way to discover it is by invoking and showing submissiveness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And especially in tahajjud time. That's the best time for the dua and supplication to be fulfilled when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala descends to the lowest heavens. So, in fact, the girl did wake up in the last third of the night as her family informed me would perform the prayer, invoke and show submissiveness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the one night she saw in a dream someone taking her by hand and leading her to a place where the spell was buried. In the morning, she recounted the dream to her family and who went to the same place that was seen in the dream and found the spell. They destroyed it, and so the girl recovered. So this was the chapter. We took like 6 classes for the chapter 6. It was long chapter. I'm going to do a quick review regarding this chapter, and I'm going to share the procedure again, how the ruqya should be done. Quickly, I'm going to tell you the ayahs we discuss in this chapter. So chapter 6 was how to treat black magic, and we did in 6 parts, and this is the last part we are doing it. So black magic for at-tafriq, separation, symptoms, treatment, practices, genie called shakwan, that was discussed. Genie put black magic inside the pillow, that we did. The latest case the author has treated, black magic al-mahabba, about love, symptoms, how does it happen, side effects, lawful black magic. There is no such thing like a lawful black magic. We discuss in detail. There is no such thing. And in this chapter we discuss Quran was sent for the healing and the mercy. وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ وَرَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَلَا يَزِيدُ الظَّالِمِينَ إِلَّا خَسَارًا. Quran is a shifa and rahma for lil mu'minin, but for the disbelievers they have qasara. وَلَا يَزِيدُ الظَّالِمِينَ, for the zalimin, for the wrongdoing, they have illa khasara. They are in the qasara, they are in the total loss. And also we have seen Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah number 102, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned again and again. This ayah was repeated and quoted. The main purpose of mentioning this ayah was mentioned, وَاتَّبِعُوا مَا تَتْلُو الشَّيَاطِينَ عَلَى مُلْكِ سُلَيْمَانَ. Sulaiman was not a magician, he didn't practice it. And also يُعَلِّمُونَ النَّاسَ السِّحْرَ, the Babylon, Harut and Marut was sent, and they taught the magic, and they themselves said, this is a fitna, this is a trial for you, and do not learn it. But still people learn it, and what was the purpose for them was to separate husband and wife. And whatever happens, it's by the illa biznillah. And people, they sell their akhirah for this dunya. In that thing we have seen. And consists of 6 types of magic. They separate mother, father, brother, friend, business partner or spouse. And symptoms of black magic of separation: sudden change in attitude, great deal of suspicion, no excuse accepted by either party, exaggeration in the cause of disputes, changing the mental images, and so forth. And also we have seen treatment. There are 3 stages of treatment: providing a setting of true faith, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. So no innovation, no bidah, no shirk. Completely your aqidah should be pure and for the sake of Allah. And taking a talisman out, all the talisman, whether in your neck, whether on your armpit, on the stomach, just remove that. And also there shouldn't be any music in the place of treatment. And also men and women, they were ordered to do prayer regularly 5 times in morning, evening du'as, and to be in the hijab, especially for the women, and also the men. They also were asked to do the 5 times prayer, and especially for the men, they were asked to do with the jamaat in the masjid. And what are the diagnosing the case by asking the patient what we have to ask? Do you sometimes see your spouse ugly or trivial marital squabbles, feel relaxed outdoor and feel depressed at home? Any one of you feel uncomfortable during sexual intercourse? And anyone feel nervous, sleep, or have nightmares? These were the symptoms we discussed. And then we start the procedure with Suratul Fatiha. And before starting the procedure, let me tell you, whatever the procedure you're doing on the water and on the treatment, you have to keep everything ready, water and oil and whatever on which you want to blow with some spit coming out. So you're going to either recite 7 times or 11 times, depend on you. So starting with Surah Fatiha, and then you're going to recite Suratul Baqarah, ayah number 1 to 6. Then after that, Suratul Baqarah, ayah number 102. And after that, Suratul Baqarah, ayah number 163. And Suratul Baqarah, ayah number 255. Suratul Baqarah, ayah number 285 and 286. And Suratul Ali Imran, ayah number 18 and 19. And after that, Suratul Araf, ayah number 54 and 56. Surah number 7. Again, Surah number 7, Suratul Araf, 117 to 122. Then Surah Yunus, Surah number 10, ayah number 81 and 82. Then Surah Taha, Surah number 20 and ayah number 69. And here, Suratul Yunus, Surah number 10, ayah number 81. Suratul Mu'minun, Surah number 23, ayah number 115 to 118. Suratul Safat, Surah number 37, ayah number 1 to 10. Suratul Ahqaf, Surah number 46, 29 to 32. I hope you note down this. Suratul Rahman, Surah number 55, 33 to 36. Suratul Hashr, Surah number 59, ayah number 21 to 24. Suratul Jinn, Surah number 72, ayah number 1 to 9. And also Suratul Ikhlas. And Suratul Ikhlas is Surah number 112, complete Surah, 1 to 4 ayah. Suratul Falaq, complete Surah, 1 to 5 ayah, 113. And after that, Suratul Nas, 114, 1 to 6, complete Surah. And after the Ruqya, the patient will be in any of the following 3 conditions. First condition, if patient becomes epileptic. And the following things may happen, and depending on that, you can recite the following ayahs. Here, أوحينا إلى بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, and this is Suratul Araf 117 to 122. You keep on repeating that ayahs. And also Suratul Yunus, ayah number 81 and 82, Surah number 10. And this ayah you're going to repeat, Suratul Taha, Surah number 20 and ayah number 69. And take a pot of water and recite the above verses over the water, so that the air exhausts from your recitation and reach the water and dissolve in it. And you're going to drink that water and use for the shower. And I explained to you how the shower should be. You do the normal shower, and after this water, you're going to use this water. Just put the water from top to bottom, and this water has to be collected in some kind of tub or something, and that water you have to throw in the plants, not in the sewage water. Okay? And you're going to recite Ayatul Kursi number of times, and that will affect the patient. And you have to give patient some of the ayahs of the Quran, like Surah Safat, Ayatul Kursi, so that they can listen in the headphones again and again. And the third stage, if the patient recovers thoroughly your treatment and feels well, you should praise Allah and thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah did that. And after that, once you are cured, observe 5 times prayer daily, and make sure you do it on time. Don't listen to the songs or music. Perform ablution when you are sleeping. Do Ayatul Kursi. Start your everything with the Bismillah, And La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahul mulk wa lahul hamdu wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. How many times? 100 times in the Fajr time and 100 times in the Maghrib time. And also to be in the company of the righteous people and observe morning and evening du'as. And we have seen a jinn called Shakwan, the first case, and how he was on the person and how it was removed by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also we have seen different cases like author discussed with his experience how he cured with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the four important things author share with us that when a jinn will enter into you: extreme fear, extreme anger, negligence, al-ghafla, and indulgence in pleasure. These four things that moment of time jinn can overcome on you. But always remember, even though you are angry or upset or you are huzn in the total grief, still you have to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, recite Ayatul Kursi, Mawazzatain, and La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu, lahul mulku wa lahul hamdu wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. And try to remember that whatever happen is with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Only Allah can cure you. So we discussed detail about the treatment. So please listen to all the 6 clips, then only you can understand how the treatment can be done. Jazakallah khairan kaseera. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta. Nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.